Welcome to the highlight show for week 10 from the Pairs Cup. Jimmy Croxton and Liam White will be the top seeds in this group. Snooker Star Tom Ford is in action. He's playing with Frazer Oliver. Dan Eaton-Lees and Sam Bircher. Vokes and Nathan Davies complete the lineup. Let's get straight into the action then and join our first match of the night right at the start.
Really good opening matchup this as well. Sam Bircher on the opening break for his partnership. And it is going to be dry, which will enable Jimmy Croxton and Liam White to come to the table first. I'll run you quickly through the rules and regs for tonight, as we are playing the Ultimate Pool Pairs Cup. We're playing international 8-ball rules. You pick your colour set, you pot your balls, you pot the 8-ball. It's as simple as that. The first frame will be Scotch doubles, which means alternate shots. Players are allowed to communicate, as you can see Liam and Jimmy doing here. Second and third frames will be singles. Fourth frame is Scotch doubles again. Fifth and sixth will be singles, and then a deciding seventh frame is played under Scotch doubles conditions. If we get there, you can see the match clock just ticking down at the bottom of your screen, 18:57 and ticking. That is how long is left in the match, which does mean that a draw is in play if scores are level when the clock reaches 0. If the clock reaches 0, we take whatever score is on the boards. So it's a race to 4 or 0 on the clock, whichever one does come first. Red's the choice then for White and Croxton. And at first glance side, this looked like a really tricky little layout. But this is the sort of layout that Liam's been making very light work of for the past couple of days on this table.
Yeah, biggest problem for them is still exists though, which is the one by the 8-ball, although they have actually landed on it. There wasn't as much room to land on it as you would want, but they're on it nicely. They may come back for it. But yeah, Liam, the level that Liam played this weekend, his level dropped a little bit in the group final for the first couple of sets. It was a 3-set final. But up until that point, he was playing as well as anyone we've seen it. And if it was a Tom Cousins or a Stevie Dempsey or a Gareth Potts playing at that level, we'd be raving about it quite rightly. And I think we should be, because it's Liam White. I think we absolutely should be raving about it and give him all the credit he deserves. It was a phenomenal performance throughout the weekend, and he deserves so much attention and credit for what he's achieved.
And you mentioned at the start of the show, he did potentially pull out. Well, for me, it's not potentially, it is. But we'll let people sound off. Potentially the greatest shot we've ever seen on the Ultimate Pool stage. And if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend you whip your phone out right now, head to the Ultimate Pool socials and take a look, because it's ridiculous. Yeah, if you've never seen Liam White break before, you might be taking a look at his relatively short stature and you might think, well, he doesn't look really like a power player, but trust us here, Liam White has got one of the biggest breaks in the world, and you can see it on full display there. That is a rocket.
Yeah, just
plenty of balls down. Look how wide open the split is.
Yeah, just a casual 4 balls off that break. And if you were with us yesterday, you will have seen in the final, which went all the way down to a deciding frame with a minute left on the clock. 6-red shootout was very much in play at that moment. Liam came up with a golden break to win it. It really was. It was one of those amazing sort of spectacles. Both players going toe to toe. I think every break in the final set, which was 11 frames, was, well, the 10 before it, I think 9 of them were clearances of the break. It's just amazing. And then obviously golden to win it. So it just shows you how well he was breaking.
Yeah, it was lights out from Danger Mouse.
Just has to be careful here getting onto the 8-ball. So he dropped this one into right corner. Just leave the angle. He'd probably like to finish just low on it and just punch up middle of the table. Is absolutely fine. Could be awkward if he lands straight. And he hasn't. He's just got a ball low, which is absolutely perfect.
Yeah, pretty solid stuff this from Liam White to kick things off. How about that? 2-0, 2 dishes from the break for the Croxton and White pairing.
Jimmy Croxton won the next frame as well to make it 3-0 before Bircher and Eaton-Lees got going with a couple of very quick frames of their own. We join frame 6 with just 28 seconds left on the clock.
He feels as good as he ever has done with it, I believe, at the moment. But he was never going to put as much power into that as he would do normally.
Well, he's going to have a crack at him. There's 3. He wouldn't have been too far away, you know. He is going to run out of time. He'd have gone close. He'd have gone close. He'll end up only a few seconds short of a shot on the 8-ball. Great effort that from Sam Bircher. Really, really great effort, but it is Jimmy Croxton and Liam White who just about get the job done in match number 1.
Moving straight on to our second match, Davies and Vokes versus Ford and Oliver, and it was Ford and Oliver that won the opening Scotch frame, and we joined Tom Ford with a break in frame 2.
Good start for Tom on his break. Not his strength. Has experimented with using the playing cue, trying to find a break cue, trying to find something that works for him. I think he just used the playing cue here, and very solid strike and nice even explosion across the table. Looks like he's eyeing up the red to top right, but where does the red underneath his body go? Does it slide into the bottom left? It's tight. Yeah, if that red near the bottom left goes, then this is lovely. I mean, he's slightly awkward on this ball now, but this is absolutely Tom's strength.
Yeah, won't miss many balls. Also get his cue ball under a little bit of control though. That's just about perfect. He'd love to have been off the cushion. Red
Ooh,
does go.
Does go. I got the sense it went just simply because he wasn't worried about doing anything to try and solve it, and could have gone yellows as well, which may have been easier to solve if that was a problem ball. So yeah, very nicely worked out here from Tom to work top down.
Yeah, and I think just having a little look-see out there as well at Tom Ford's cue. He's using the Old Faithful comfortably. The worst cue I think I've ever held.
The next 2 frames were shared and killed the time on the clock, meaning that the match would finish 3 frames to 1. Davies and Vokes would stay out in the arena to take on Bircher and Eaton-Lees. Both pairs lost their opening match and need to win this one to have any chance of making it through. The first 4 frames were shared, and we join frame 5 at the break.
What a break to hit at this juncture. However, that little grimace there from Dan Eaton-Lees, little drop of the shoulders should tell you all you need to know about how the split looks. He's absolutely creamed that break, and this is pretty horrible. And we've got 2 minutes. This may well be the last frame. You can't lose it. You can't really draw it. Dan Eaton-Lees has to go.
He does. He's taken on the yellows, and I was trying to do the calculations in my head. If he'd gone reds, and reds are really tough, don't get me wrong, could he be the only one that would have a chance to win it? As in, you wouldn't leave enough time to counter clear. I wonder on yellows, because there's a couple of balls less, whether if he doesn't get these, then there'll be time for the counter clearance. But I don't see how he breaks out the ball at the top.
Has he got an angle now?
No, I don't think so.
Just thinking the one into the left middle.
Yeah, maybe. You may well be right.
No, takes it long, doesn't get there. He must have had a plan. One minute then for Luke Vokes to win it.
Now, and I always expected Dan to go reds because I thought the red by the 8 ball was easier to solve. I know there were some problems down the table, but the red by the 8 ball doubles, whereas the yellow doesn't. He is still going to try and break it out, I believe, though.
Just like that.
That's okay. That's gone as a plant. He can get these.
Oh, that's gone a little bit smelly, though.
He can use the yellow to hold, though.
All right, then. Set to yourself, Luke. Doesn't love it. He's got 12 seconds to win the match. In it goes. Some very, very happy Welshmen. I think there will just be one more break in the match. And they make a ball for good measure. Cue ball does go in, but not that that matters too much. It's the
Moving on to match number 4, where the winners from our opening 2 games would square off. Croxton and White versus Ford and Oliver. And it was Ford and Oliver that won the opening Scotch frame before Liam White responded to make it 1-1. We're going to join Tom Ford with a break in frame 3.
Tom Ford back on the break, 7 minutes and 50 remaining in the match. No friends.
Decent layout as well for Jimmy. First shot, maybe tricky just to get hold of this cue ball. Nothing, you know, easy in terms of pot and control here, but if he can get this first shot right, and he has plenty of areas to land in, then everything goes and has pockets. And that will do nicely, well controlled.
He's been in good form himself this year as Jimmy Croxton got himself to the final of the Masters, which was a bit of a marathon event. Just came up short in the end against Scott Gillespie in what is one of the edgiest finals I think we've ever had. Both players were so desperate to see the finish line for the first time. They ended up stumbling round the track.
Adds to the drama, though.
Oh, you couldn't take your eyes off it.
Deciding frame in the end. Jimmy had first chance in that decider, and well, he'll be the first to tell you that in the cold light of day and not the pressure of the situation and 15 seconds a shot, he knows he took the wrong colour set. Looks like he's thinking about playing across for the plant. The issue with the plant is not absolutely straight. The red he'd be playing would go towards the yellow, and it could tie itself up. So he's got to be careful here. If he had got straight in on this red, which he couldn't do from where he was, then he could have played short position. Oh, that's a surprise, though.
Yeah.
You don't see Jimmy miss many pots. You do see him put himself into trouble from time to time, but very rarely misses.
Yeah, always been such a gifted potter. Comes from a big snooker background when he was younger. Very, very seldom misses a ball.
Hasn't left a great chance on here for Tom. The yellow at the top of the table is awkward. The yellow he's nearest to is awkward. We know that he's not really going to want to play safe, but forced into it.
It's pretty good safety. Blocked off the red to the middle, blocked off the red to the top left. The only reds Jimmy can see are the two together, which isn't much help for him. Difficult to play safe off those.
he might just be able to sort of squeeze the cue ball behind the red and yellow. He's gone the other way for middle of the table. I was thinking he could play off it the other way round and get the cue ball to sort of where the red is on the left-hand side. He's left a shot on coming this way.
Little bit surprised to see Tom not take the yellow he's closest to into the middle pocket. It's obviously blocked to the top left, which would be its natural home.
It's just
obviously feels he's got easy access to the top right.
It's just very, very difficult as a pot. That was just in time. I think he's come back too far if his plan was to go up the table. He wanted to be at least a turn straighter on this yellow. So it's a change of ball. He was playing on the top one of those two together. Tricky. Hardest two balls on the table still remain, and he's 3 pots into this visit.
He's now perfect for his trip up the top of the table.
He was actually...
Has he fluked it? No.
He was actually half a turn straight the wrong way from straight and had to really pinch the pocket. It looks like a terrible miss, but he had to pinch the extreme of that pocket to make the path for the cue ball.
Well, all that time being slightly off straight the wrong way, and then he goes and overcompensates. He's unmissable now for Jimmy Croxton. Two minutes and 40 seconds or thereabouts left in the match. They'll go 2-1 in front. Still plenty of time for another frame, maybe even another one after that. Still all to play for in this match.
Oh, it's a poor one from Jimmy. Just got away with it.
Just.
Any thicker and he's on nothing. In the end, it's a fairly routine 8-ball for him.
Easy enough, yeah, recognises that. Liam White on the break then. Makes a ball and has a very presentable chance. It's a Scotch frame. And if they can get this one and be relatively patient with it, it should win them the match. 2 minutes exactly remains.
I was wondering if they had an opener on the yellows, because yellows are a routine here. They do, but they could put a yellow awkward. Jimmy's done well. And now they really do have a great chance to essentially go and win this match.
Well, these have to go.
Yeah.
For two players of these boys' level, these are about unmissable.
Yeah, and it's sort of mapped out for them, really. And the most obvious last ball, top left. And I think they'd have preferred to not have to play a plant here to right centre, but they probably will end up doing that. Oh no, he's going to go past it, so we can drop the one in the middle. But it's still absolutely fine for them.
Difficult to dress this one up as anything else. This was routine. Just the sort of visit you're absolutely crying out for on a 15-second shot clock in a must-win frame. They could almost finish the game here. They won't quite get enough time to run out the match clock, but they will leave 4 seconds on it, I believe. If they go to the beeps, they elect not to. Ian White just knocks it in, so 12 seconds left.
Tom trying to egg him into going for a golden break if he does. Hoping for the golden duck on the back of a golden break, but it's not going to happen.
Yeah, nothing doing on that break, and that will ice the game for them. Ford and Frazer concedes, and that will end the match. Job done for Liam White and Jimmy Croxton.
Tom Ford and Frazer Oliver will stay out in the arena, needing to win their final match against Dan Eaton-Lees and Sam Bircher to have any chance of making it through. And we're going to join it at the opening frame.
For our pairings in this match, Frazer Oliver with what's becoming now a bit of a trademark massive break. What's also sadly becoming a bit of a pattern for him is not getting any rewards off it. Watch again, absolutely smashes this one. Nearly gets kicked off again, somehow doesn't make a ball, and all of a sudden he breaks dry into the table. Come Bircher and Eaton-Lees. It's a little bit of a strange group the way this has gone. Both these two pairings can still qualify. They must win this match and hope that Jimmy and Liam lose the match at the end. I say both. I think I'm wrong there. Simon Webb's furiously shaking his head at me. I believe Ford and Oliver are the only team that can still qualify. Bircher and Eaton-Lees were indeed knocked out.
Yeah, they lost their second match.
Yeah. Trips me up every single week.
Well, it's complicated. Four people in the group, 4 pairs in the group.
I struggle to count to 6,
but with
which
that,
is my issue.
But with that in mind, it's important that Ford and Oliver realise that, because if they win here, it means the final match of the night is very live for the opponents of Jimmy and Liam, and then all of a sudden a 3-way 6-red shootout is very likely. I think if Jimmy and Liam are playing a pair that are already out, it feels more of a tough one to sort of rely on.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is a case of get the job done for Tom Ford and Frazer Oliver, and then, you would not rule out a win for Davies and Vokes in the final match of the night, which would set us up for some serious horseplay and hanky-panky with the 3-way 6-red shootout to close the night.
As always, a very tough match for the pair that are out, Del and Sam here, but they're still going to go out there and try their hardest to win this one and have some fun out there. And they're off to a good start.
Yeah, lovely visit to the table so far. Perfect. In it goes, and 1-0 to the team from the Black Country.
That frame would set the tone for the match, and a comfortable victory for Sam Bircher and Dan Eaton-Lees, knocking out Tom Ford and Frazer Oliver. On to our final match of the night. If Jimmy Croxton and Liam White can avoid defeat, then they will make it through. If they lose, it will be a 6-red shootout against Nathan Davies and Luke Vokes, who won the opening couple of frames, and we're going to join the match at the start of frame 3.
Oh, disaster strikes. And Penfold up in a flash.
I've never seen Jimmy move so quick. Flew out of his chair here.
Yeah, absolutely. Left Danger Mouse in his dust.
So if it's reds, then it's the one red on the left-hand side. If it's yellows, then it's the 2 yellows on the left-hand side. But the yellows are easier to solve there than the red is. So no surprise to see the yellows be the choice. Not sure that was the best of first shots for Jimmy. I'm not sure if he was planning to come onto the one below the 8 ball to then be able to get across to the left-hand side and deal with those straight away. He can get back there off this one to right centre, which, to be honest, isn't the worst way of going anyway. He's clearing these 2 on the right because they connected so well together. The yellow in the top half of the table, just a little bit disconnected.
Yeah, almost on an island, isn't it?
I mean, this is perfect. He just needs to come back to roughly where he is now, maybe a turn short of where he is now. Obviously easier to play on the 8 ball than the yellow, so there was a case for clearing the ones at the top if this was how he was going to go about it, but also you're taught to get after your bad balls as early as possible, so not a surprise to see it left up there. I think many people would have done the same. And very good on it. Excellent.
Yeah, absolutely fair play.
Very good visit to the table, this one from Jimmy. Back against the wall in this match.
Yeah, the joker on this occasion, not messing around. Needed this. And knocks in the 8-ball. If you're ever finding yourself with a few minutes, just giving the phone the old scroll, have a little look at Liam's social media channels. He often features his son on them, and Liam's been joking for a long time now that as soon as he becomes old enough to not have to use a rest for a shot on the other side of the table, and he'll be replacing Jimmy in his pairs team.
Well, they're going to have to be a team right now. We're back to the Scotch. Not the best of breaks for Liam on a rare occasion. Certainly the outcome not good. These two yellows do plant. Well, they definitely can develop the yellow on the left-hand side in playing this shot if they wanted to. But I think that was a case of take the colour set,
yeah,
and then come back round to that area for a double. They were actually on the double straight away if they wanted to play that. Well, I'm really surprised at that. I'm surprised. I mean, if they're on the yellow to right centre, it's perfect and it's brilliant, but I'm surprised they didn't try and do that off the plant where they were leaving one up the top end of the table. Maybe the plant wasn't quite as set as I thought it was. Doing it off that ball meant they could easily stick on the red and be on nothing, but I think this has come out well for them. No, it didn't. They had to take it long. Brilliant from Jimmy.
Well, he's got away with it. I think they're going to have to pull out another pot, but they are on this yellow. It's just below the right centre pocket.
The shake of the head from Jimmy tells me they're not, but Liam thinks he is. Oh no, he's bending it. That's very unlucky for Jimmy Croxton. It really is.
What a pot.
Whoa. Have some of that. Amazing shot.
What a shot that is from Liam White.
Shot of the night for me. That was brilliant.
Nipper loves it as well. Gives it the nod of approval behind him. Well, we did suspect there might be an element of, Jimmy said it himself, you know, sometimes Liam's going to have to bail him out of bad positional shots, but actually Jimmy was very unlucky there, having played a terrific shot himself. To leave Liam that was tough, but for the execution from Danger Mouse, bang! What a visit to the table. 2-2, delicately poised. Nathan Davies willing every ball home.
Doesn't have a good opener. Reasonable split on reds. Not brilliant, but doesn't have an opener on them. Well, he does. He has a long one to the corner. How brave you're feeling here, Nathan. You could go yellows. You've got an easier opener on yellows to bottom left. It's still not easy. And you can make a case for yellows. They're not terrible. They look more congested than they are, but I think there's a finish on there, but I think he's made his mind up. It is reds, and it will be the long one to the corner.
Oh, take a look at the difference in that pot versus the one from the very first frame that these two boys played on the table tonight. It was a very similar shot, and when Nathan played that in the first frame, it was edgy, it was unconfident, a little bit fragile, missed it by a long way. That was convincing. They're very much in the night now. They fancy this, and they've even had a little nudge there just to stay on the red. He'd have loved to have been on the one just by the triangle area, just the left of it. That was the plan.
Yeah, that one actually, it slid on him and so much more than he was expecting. And actually, that will come back to bite them, you feel. That makes these two left at the bottom end of the table really tough. And, okay, he's on this one now, but he's going to have to pop this one and go away from the other one at the bottom end of the table, which is going to get left alone. This finish, if that nudge goes right on the yellows, then he could have made this very simple, and all of a sudden he's chasing and he's digging.
He had to play actually a hell of a shot there, just to avoid the in-off. Done it very well. The red does have pockets. It's just very easy to land the cue ball in a nice way to access them. He's tried to now, and he's actually made it harder.
Turns away in disgust. Was trying to cannon the yellow once again. Gets his line wrong.
Is he thinking red off the yellow? He is. What a shot! Is he on the last red? No.
Have to say a little bit unlucky with that shot. You can make the case, yeah, if he gets the cannon right earlier on in the visit, it's already simple for it, but that shot on its own was a very good one, and he's got no reward for it.
Oh, he very nearly did. He's not... Is he left? Yeah, he's left the yellow to the middle.
Well,
could be crucial, that visit to the table from Nathan Davies. It was a great effort, a tricky layout.
yeah, and the yellow by that red now does slide by as well. I think he's got half a pocket, but he'll expect to be right behind it. This means his chance for Jimmy to go in front with 2 minutes on the clock by the time he finishes here. And when you only need the draw to get through, this is the same how it flies in. It essentially means this is for the match. Stop short of the straight, which is what you'd want. Allows him just to track down the line off the cushion. In perfect position here. Well, the hope that Nathan and Luke would have had at going 2-0 up with 2 clearances off the break, and all of a sudden they're going to find themselves behind, needing 2 frames in 2 minutes.
I'll cause the extension just to chew a little bit more clock. It is the right thing to do here. And pots the 8 ball.
But they may not get that. What a break.
Yeah, what a time for that to come for Liam White. I think it's actually the perfect break, this, because he's crunched it, he's made a couple of balls. But actually just the split's a little bit tricky and messy, which is perfect. Pot your open ones, make it absolutely horrible, and kill the clock.
If he can get to the potting angle of the yellow on the right-hand side, and I think he can from the right spot, then the yellows aren't bad here at all. Yellows are very, very good. Yeah, I think he'd be on it straight away. Yeah, just clean run to the line. Slowly mop these up.
Yeah, assume this one didn't go, but there it goes, comfy. And you're absolutely right. A stroll to the finish line for Liam White and Jimmy Croxton.
Tiniest bit of hope here, because it's hampered queuing.
Yeah, little
and
edgy glance at the clock.
And it's an awkward angle as well. Can he just drift by the other yellow? I think he can. Yeah, he can. He's okay. The angle's not bad. Just had to make the pot.
Yeah, and he knows now the game is safe. 2-0 down in the final match. It is never, ever a nice place to be in. But Liam White and Jimmy Croxton are going to get the job done. They may well run 4 frames straight. This for the win. Doesn't get there, but it will end by 3 frames to 2. Jimmy Croxton and Liam White are qualified in to the next stage of the Ultimate Pool Pairs Cup.